I remember your last laugh. When somebody loves me, and somebody wants me to, I'm keeping my distance, I'm keeping it safe until this fever breaks. The birds in the backyard, they don't worry about a thing, just pecking around in this God-forsaken ground. After a hard rain, something good has gotta rise up. After a hard rain, something good has gotta rise up. Well, somebody loves me. Somebody wants me to. I'm keeping my distance, keeping it safe until this fever breaks. I'm keeping my distance, I'm keeping it safe until this fever breaks.
Thank you, Kelsey. A little bit of clapping. So good morning, Unity Payson. Good morning. Good morning. Say good morning to me, even though I can't hear you. But I'm getting the feel of it, and I want to welcome to Unity Payson this morning as we virtually join together and celebrate opportunity for connection. So as we join, would you take just a moment to be quiet with me, to take all of the activity that's in your home, in your place where you are, all of the thoughts that have been parading through your mind, and put them aside for just a moment. Breathe. Be here, be where you are, and no place else for this moment. God of all goodness, we are grateful for our creation. We're grateful for how we're made. When we sit back, it's a thing of wonder to know all of the possibilities that there are for us, to know all of the gifts that we've been given, to know our divine connection, inseparable, always there from the very beginning. We are grateful that this is the very nature of our being. So this morning, as we gather, we do so with open minds, open hearts, even open wills, as we discern the journey that we're to go on, each of us individually, and the journey for us as a community, Unity of Payson. Bless each one who is with us, either here at this time, Facebook Live, or in a recording later on, because there is no boundary of time as we think we know it. We are together and we are one. We're grateful, and so it is. Amen.
So, welcome again to Unity of Payson. My name is Donna Steckel, and I will be your hostess this morning. We're glad you're with us, and we want to recognize you if you're with us for the first or second time. And if you're with us on Zoom, please raise your hand by going to the bottom of the screen and clicking on participants and clicking on yourself, and then you will be able to raise your hand. And if you're on the phone, please unmute by pressing *6 to tell us your name. So is anybody here for the first or second time this morning? People may come in later that are first-time guests. So let's go ahead and welcome everybody with our welcoming prayer, and those who have yet to find us also. And you can say this with me out loud if you'd like, because the energy will come together. And here we go. We love you, we bless you, and we welcome you. So we're going to have our opening song, and while the opening song is playing, feel free to use the chat if you're on Zoom to greet your neighbors. And that will be the way that we do our greeting today. So here we go. Thank you for this day.
We are often not without technical challenges. And while Tom and I went through this earlier this morning,
so the music
Tom,
isn't playing.
Right. If Tom, if you want to. So Tom, if you want to reset this and see if you can do that, go ahead, and we'll see if we can.
In the meantime, I'll read some of the greetings that we have in the chat. So from Teresa, good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful spring day in Payson. Be well. From Marie, may your day be bountiful and beautiful like you. And Kelsey, how does your garden grow?
Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Now thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right, now it's time. What a great segue for gratitudes. And We're grateful for those who support Unity of Payson with your time, your talent, and your treasures. We're also grateful that our events are continuing, our weekly events on Zoom. And these included morning coffee, which is a half an hour gathering on 9:30 in the morning every day of the week. And we read the daily word and talk about how that resonates in our lives. We had the TED Talk Circle. We still are doing our As Your Orders and Pickups. That's the co-op and the health food. And we're doing a book circle, and it's coming out very nicely. We're thankful for the technology that allows us to meet together virtually. And we're grateful for all our family and friends born in May. Yes, it's May. So let me ask, what are you grateful for? And just take a moment and call to mind something that you're grateful for. And I will call on you if you put something in the chat or if you raise your hand and you'd like to share. So Betty says she's so grateful for brilliant health and spring gardens. Thank you, Betty. Anyone else care to share what you're grateful for?
So I'm butting in because I don't get to raise my hand. I am really grateful for the book study that we've been doing, and grateful for Teresa and her leadership in that. It's amazing to see 16 of us there, all committed to learning. And of course, you know, we'll talk more about it. The art of pilgrimage is what we're considering. And I'm just grateful to see the level of participation that's there and the commitment to it.
And Teresa says, I'm grateful for healthcare workers. Yes, yes. Feels like we're all doing our part right now, doesn't it? So, okay, let's move along. Unity is grounded in prayer, affirmative.
Donna, can I just interrupt for a minute? Anne Marie had her hand up, and we'll unmute her. And go ahead, Anne Marie. She did.
You know, I'm grateful for our mayor. You know, he's very dedicated, and he has come on every day, you know, at 8:30 to tell update and also to be really supportive of the community. And he mentioned your name this morning, Neil. Yeah, as one of the churches that is supportive of the homeless project. Okay.
Thank you, Anne. So, okay, let's go to the prayer and talk about that unity is grounded in meditation and affirmative prayer. We have prayer chaplains to pray with you if you have a prayer concern. You may call or text your request to the Unity Church phone, and the number is on the screen here. It's 928-235-7142. Our prayer team and Silent Unity will join with you in prayer for 30 days, and all prayer requests are kept sacred and confidential. If you'd like personalized prayer support, leave your contact information and a chaplain will contact you. Okay, let's move on to the Unity Worldwide theme for May. Curiosity. I live in a world of wonder. Today's speaker is Neil Worthington, and the title of his talk is Life Generating Curiosity. And now it's time for the daily word. And Sunday, May 3rd, actually is World Peace. So I'm going to read the daily word that I have in front of me. And we'll trust that guidance will be there as I read this. So the affirmation is, I contribute to peace in the world. When I learn of conflict in my community or in the world, my response may be frustration, sadness, or anger. If I have those feelings, I remember that I am more than merely human. I am a living expression of God, heir to all that God is. I use my divine faculties of wisdom, understanding, and love to create the abiding peace that is my birthright. Centered in divine peace, I realize that every person is as much an expression of God as I am. As differences dissolve in a way that transcends human understanding, I come to know oneness with all the world's people. I let this realization shape my response to every person in every situation. In an awareness of my oneness with all people, my thoughts, words, and actions contribute to peace in the world. And from John 17:22, the glory that you have given me, I have given them, so that they may be one as we are one. And so my reflection on the daily word is all about opening my own heart and self-love and self-forgiveness. Because once I do that, then I automatically understand others, and I automatically have love to offer to others. So I really believe it's an inside job. So one of the things I've been practicing, and it's partly from Tai Chi practice and Qigong practice, is when I have strong emotions like frustration and anger, I pause and I take a slow, deep breath and a long exhale. And that really helps me to center myself. And when I center myself, I know the truth automatically. And I know the truth that we're all one. And just this centering and knowing is powerful enough. So when I look out at the situation or whatever it is, I see it differently. And it sees me differently. So that's my share on world peace. Now it's time for our mission and vision statements. So I will read these aloud, and if you would, say it along with me and feel the energy. Our mission statement: we are a welcoming and open-hearted community, inspiring each other to live in love, joy, and service. And our vision statement: we enrich our world through spirit-centered service, positive human connections, and stewardship of all creation. And now it's time for our pre-meditation song, God is Holding Me Now.
What's my hurry in this fury? God is holding me is holding me now. Relax my hands and rest my eyes. Take a deep breath and realize that I can do this. I'll get through this. God is holding me now. In this moment, I'll step aside. I will let go and let God provide. Find my center. Let love enter. God is holding me now. Holding me now.
God is holding me now. God is holding you now. And as the lyrics of that song say, rest your hands now. Close your eyes and breathe. Simply breathe. Feel the life, the divine life that is there all the time, but feel that in you right now in the quietness. So as we meditate together, will you go on a little journey with me? Imagine that you're 1,500 or 2,000 years earlier, and that you're there, you're suddenly transplanted into an ancient civilization, into an ancient society. You have a robe on, you have sandals on, and you're wandering the hillsides, seeking, searching, you don't even know. And as you wander, you come upon a huge archway that's leading to a temple inside, and it beckons to you. But you stand in awe for a moment, and you look on that archway, and you noticed above the opening that there is a truth imprinted in that doorway. Several truths actually, but the first one catches your mind, catches your eye. It is very simply, know thyself. And in faith, you begin to step forward again. And you go through that archway. You go into a temple not a structure, but a great expanse of openness and possibility. And as you're there, you're awed by your surroundings, the immensity of them, the holiness that seems to be there. And you feel a little small and somewhat limited. You're a little bit intimidated, but you're led to voice some words. Who would I be if I were brave? You're a little unsure, and you find the words coming from your mouth. Who would I be if I were confident? You feel a bit weak, and you say, who would I be if I were strong? You realize that you don't yet know yourself. And you ask the question, who would I be if I were wise? You sit for a moment, and the limitations that would keep you from being these things, they cluster in the background and ready to descend to you and take you over. But using your power of will, you go a little further. What might I do if I were brave? What might I do if I were confident? What might I do if I were strong? What might I do if I were wise? And then you see those clusters of limitation, almost like little people walking toward you, but walking right past you. And one by one, they walk off a cliff into nothingness. And you take this thought into the silence. Maybe I am brave. Possibly I am confident. I think I am strong. I know that I am wise. You take that into the silence. You let it be alive in you. And that great expansive temple begins to fade. That ancient time falls away. And with me, you return to this time, to the place where you are. In gratitude. So come back to this time with me now. Open your eyes. Have a sense of this reality right in front of you. And so it is. H.A. Rey was born in Hamburg, Germany in 1898. Near the Hagenbeck
It looks like Neil's dropped off the internet. So, Kelsey, do you have anything to play for a second till he comes back?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
You got just play something on the piano, just the melody or something, and we'll keep an eye out for him coming back.
I could try.
Yeah,
Let's see here.
it's better than dead air.
Gotcha.
Still don't hear you, Neil. Oh, he's back, Kelsey.
Right.
And he engaged in the artistic community and met a young woman named Margaret. That young woman, Margaret, nod your heads if you're hearing me. Anybody hearing me now? Can you hear me now? Okay. Thank you for that interruption. As H.A. Ray grew up in Hamburg, Germany, he engaged in connection with the artistic community and met a young woman named Margaret. They were quite taken with each other, but very shortly after that meeting, Margaret left Hamburg to study art, and their connection was severed for that period of time. Many years later, they met again in Rio de Janeiro, far away from Germany. And there they connected strongly and began to creatively engage in little projects. And in fact, that creativity blossomed, and they wrote a book together, actually a short story that was illustrated, because both of them were artists. And the name of the story was Cecily G. and the 9 Monkeys. It was a children's book, as you might guess. So Cecily G. was a giraffe. And the giraffe engaged with those 9 monkeys, and they became very, very fast friends, helped each other, many adventures. The story had one character that you would know. Anybody think they might know who that is? The character you know is Curious George. Remember Curious George? He was one of the 9 monkeys. And he went on to on another set of books but not before his creators, H.A. and Margaret Ray, they were married in in Brazil, went back to a city that they loved, Paris. And while there, the Nazi occupation became apparent, and they had to flee. In fact, they were able to do so only 1 hour before the occupation of Paris by the Nazis. They were, in fact, German Jews, so they were very much at risk. They escaped by cobbling together some bicycle parts to make 2 different bicycles, and they rode to the border of Spain and sold those bicycles so they could have passage, and eventually they made it to Brazil again, and then eventually the US. Curious George then, they'd carried that manuscript with them on those bicycles as they escaped Paris. Curious George was brought to the fore and published by Houghton Mifflin in 1941. It was a series of 7 stories, and you may have read those original stories, or you may have seen books or television series or movies, even with eminent actors voicing the parts of Curious George. To date, they have published more than 65 million of those publications. Now, my kids loved Curious George. It was great bedtime reading for them. From that, and this was many, many years ago, 30 plus, I got my first email. And my first email was, follow along with our favorite book, Curious Neil. And you may see me using it to this day from time to time. So we've brought out the idea of curiosity. Of course, Curious George was adventurous and got into all sort of sometimes misadventures, but he was curious. He wanted to know. He wanted to understand. What is curiosity? And that's our theme, of course, for the month. Curiosity is the desire to learn and know anything. It is inquisitiveness. One of my heroes is Albert Einstein. And here's what Albert Einstein, that eminent scholar and scientist, had to say. The important thing is not just questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existence. One cannot help but be in awe when he contemplates the mysteries of eternity, of life, of the marvelous structure of reality. It is enough if one tries merely to comprehend a little of this mystery every day. So creativity is also a spiritual faculty or ability that stems from one of the 12 powers we discuss often, the power of imagination. So that is the ability to image, to dream, to envision. So that is what spawns this quality of curiosity within us. One of our co-founders, Charles Fillmore, was a very curious fellow. He loved to see what science had to say and how it connected with spirituality, but he was just curious as a child right up until his end years. A young couple was invited to go along with Charles on a trip to the West when he was in his 90s. And they remember that fondly, and I just want to read what they commented about Charles. In many ways, he was like a little boy in his excitement, curiosity, and wonderment. Whenever we drew near a lookout area, he wanted to stop the car, get out, and look across the mountain range. He would lean over the railing and look down to the foot of the mountain, to the stream of water 1,000 or 2,000 feet below. That curiosity was alive in him until nearly the end of his life, probably until the end of his life. So the spiritual quality that we have embedded within us is not what we sometimes think when we think of curiosity, because we think of things like, you remember the phrase, curious minds want to know, or curiosity killed the cat. Though that kind of curiosity is one that's in somebody else's business. And the ability of curiosity from a spiritual perspective is one that stays in our business. So we're not talking about curiosity killed the cat. We talk about it from the perspective of Unity's third principle, which is that of co-creation. We know that we, as creations of the divine, have an opportunity to be co-creative. We know that because as we envision that which we want, to go back with that imagination, as we hold fast to that thought, as we embellish it with all the feeling it can have, we begin to create what we want in our lives, and they come into manifestation. I want to share just 3 facets of this curiosity that I think that are important. They're important to me anyway, so let me share them with you. They're divine inquisitiveness, a longing to know, and divine discontent. That last one may seem a little bit unfamiliar, and but we'll get there. Let's start with divine inquisitiveness. We are made in the image of likeness and likeness of God, as the Hebrew scriptures tell us, and as we know innately. We speak of ourselves as expressions of the divine, and those expressions are kin to the very nature of the divine, and that is within us, sometimes not remembered, often not remembered. And that nature of the divine is the very nature of one that is inclined to expand, to explore, to evolve, and to grow. That is the nature of the divine. That is also the very nature that we have. We have within us desires, not outside of us, but within us. Desires well up from within, and those desires, if we have them and when we have them, signal the fact that we are able to bring those possibilities into manifestation. So often we limit ourselves with regard to that, but in fact, those desires, if we have them, are able to be fulfilled. I think those desires come from what I call divine urges. Knowing that we are one with the divine, that the Christ within us, that divine sense and nature within us is there and always ready to act. When we listen to it, when we're sensitive to it, we somehow get urges. It's not something that happens in our mind. It's something that happens from within our very heart, our very soul. And as we hold those desires, those urges in our minds, as we're faithful to them and hold them in our minds, then the demonstration of that which we desire is there. Of course, whatever we hold in our mind is what will demonstrate. So our attentiveness to those divine urges, to those desires that well up from within us is important. Divine inquisitiveness. It's there for all of us. And then there's that aspect of curiosity, a longing to know. Oh, we sometimes say, oh, I don't know. I just don't know. But we also say, I wish I knew. I wish I knew. If I knew, I could. And you fill in the blanks. That longing to know is always there within us. Again, as we're sensitive to our inner being, our core being, we realize, we make a part of our lives that longing to know. Going back to Einstein, We long to know the mysteries of life, and that's a mystery of life that may have been long forgotten. Remember, Einstein said it's not enough if one merely tries to comprehend, or it is enough if one merely tries to comprehend a little of this mystery each day. Remember the meditation that we did? I took that somewhat from history, ancient Greek history. At the temple of Apollo in Delphi, that maxim, know thyself, was the first of 3 imprinted on the wall of the temple. It's something that that is there, that urges us if we allow it. Remember in the Christian scriptures, in that famous love chapter, 1 Corinthians 13, remember how it ends up saying, then you will know even as you are known. We have often said, well, that's in the hereafter. But I suspect that the closer we are to that real, authentic core of our being, the more we experience and cherish and express that Christ nature within, the more we will know things that we don't know by thinking or reading or acquiring knowledge, but things that we know innately as creations, creations of the divine. We often talk in unity about the omniscience of God, God knowing all, the divine knowing all, source knowing all. And we realize that because we are one with all, I'm going to assume that knowing is also available to us, much unrealized, but it's available to us. That longing to know pulls us toward the knowing that we wish for. Not again that that knowing that comes from study, but a knowing because the one that comes from study is kind of already traveled territory. The knowing that comes from within is unique and personal and new and fresh. When we are within, in meditation or in quiet, in stillness, suddenly insights arise. And those insights give us a craving for more insights. I long personally to be able to be one that follows those insights, that knows in a way that I have not known, but what is perfectly possible for me. A longing to know. And then there's also that third one, that little odd divine discontent. Now it's kind of amazing that and I would characterize it as a low state of consciousness, that low state of consciousness goes together with the divine, discontent and divine. Discontent often in our lives is complaining, moaning, groaning, blaming, finding fault, discontent, not contented. In fact, the antidote to that was spoken of by the Apostle Paul when he says, I've learned in whatsoever state I am to be content. Well, I'm not talking about that kind of discontent. I'm talking about something that's just a little bit different than that. Because we are created in perfection, there is a desire to express that perfection perfectly, or at least more fully. So that's the discontent. I'm evolving, but I want to go to the next step. I'm growing, but I want to be a little bigger. That divine discontent that pushes us forward, that causes us to take additional steps on the journey. We are by nature more than we're currently expressing. There is so much more, and it is a divine discontent with things as they are, wanting to follow that evolution, wanting to follow that growth. I had the opportunity to sit in on a class yesterday. I was very involved in it. A full day long class. Actually, I went to Hawaii for the class. Unity Church of Hawaii was hosting this workshop called the Q process. It's a creation of Reverend Dr. Gary Simmons, and it's a classic in Unity. In my studies, we studied his book, and even some of you here studied with Reverend Charlie, the book, The Eye of the Storm. This is an extension of that work by Gary Simmons. And in that work, we did a number of exercises yesterday in breakout groups and in small groups, but I want to share just a little bit about that. One of the things we did was to list limiting qualities and beliefs, what Gary Simmons calls shadow qualities, that side of us that's not yet enlightened, those shadow qualities. And in doing that, he pointed us to the fact that this is not who I am. Those shadow qualities are not who I am. Then we went on to look at the other side of it. And we were encouraged to do the exercise of choosing 6 individuals across time, perhaps even a fictional character, someone we have known, that we respect, persons that we respect, that we highly revere. And so we listed those people. And for each of them, he said, what are 3 qualities that they have that you admire? So we went through the process of listing those 3 qualities. And where we come out on the other end was, this is who I have come to be. Because if those qualities are something that you see in someone else, they're also resident in you. In the recovery movement, sometimes we use the little phrase, if you spot it, you got it. Well, that's true for those shadow qualities, but it's also true for those qualities that we esteem. So they're there, latent, ready to be expressed. And if you spot it, you got it. So that's encouraging to know that this is who I really am, have come to be. This is who I truly am. If I remember, this is who I truly am. I want us to take just a moment. We won't go through 6 individuals, but I'd like you to bring to mind one person, again, fictional or real, historical or current, and think of that individual, someone you esteem. You got it? Now take that individual and name the most salient quality that they have that you respect. You got that? That is who you have come here to be. We incarnate, we live this life, this physical life, this expression physically of a larger spiritual experience or spiritual life. And when we spot that quality that we admire, respect, that in fact is resident and latent within us, and it's who we have come here to be. It's the divine discontent of not wanting to stay in the shadows, but willingly to go on and see, where are we going? Who am I really here to be? That is in fact that aspect of curiosity. So we have the 3 aspects I've looked at. That, of course, the divine discontent that we've spoken of, a longing to know, and also that divine inquisitiveness, to me, that's what curiosity is about. Today, tomorrow, I might know a little, I might have some more insights, but today that's where it is. So I just want to leave you with just a few statements that I run across as I'm considering curiosity. And here they are. Life is for growing. Knowing is much more possible than you think. Don't look backward. Open new doors. Sit with the discontent that accompanies being who you have come here to be. And so it is. Amen. So I'd like us to take just a moment to let that sink in. And then as we go on with our service, I'd like to think with gratitude about all that is in our lives, even in a very unique time and situation. So much to be grateful for. And as we do that, one of those things that I am extraordinarily grateful for is my ability to be part of Unity of Payson. It's a little over 2 years now, and I am so grateful for that. I hope that you're grateful as well for Unity of Payson and what it's meant in your life. And this is a time when we can express that gratitude. We normally would take our offering, would pass the offering basket, and you'd have the opportunity to put a check in or some cash in. We don't have that opportunity in the same way, and but we do have the opportunity to give nonetheless. Tom's going to put a slide up in just a minute, and that slide is going to give you the information that you can have to donate, contribute to Unity of Payson. I think we're going to get there, Tom. We're working on it. So I will just tell you in advance. It's very easy to go to unityofpayson.org. There you will see a donate/support button, and you will have an opportunity to go there, and online you can make a contribution. We appreciate those contributions, but you also may send a check. A check can be at Post Box 2582. 2580. There we go. Thank you, Tom. The zip code for the post office box is 85547. Again, receive so much and freely we give as well. So if we were together, we'd say it, and you can say it now, our simple affirmation: freely we give and freely we receive. And so it is. We're going to give you time to figure those gifts as we have our next song, a Daniel Amad song.
Remember as a child you dreamed of flying to the sky. Now there's nothing stopping you but doubts inside your own mind. You know that you can be whatever you would like to be. Your time has finally come. The world is ready now to see you. Let your love unfold. Let your love unfold. It will change the world starting with you. Let your love unfold. Let your love unfold. It will change the world starting with you. Yes, you have the power to make anything so. Only you and God know where you are rest assured that all your dreams are born to come true. If you just find your strength inside and let it shine on through. Let your love unfold, let your love unfold. It will change the world starting with you. Let your love unfold, let your love unfold. It will change the world starting with you. But do you love yourself as you know you should do? You are a child of God, no wall you can't break through. You've just got to believe that your great destiny awaits. All your wildest dreams will turn into your certain fate. So let your love unfold, let your love unfold. It will change the world starting with you. Let your love unfold, let your love unfold. It will change the world starting with you. Let your love unfold, let your love unfold. It will change the world starting with you. Let your love unfold, let your love unfold. It will change the world, it will change the world, it will change the world, starting with you. Starting with you.
And so our gifts today, they start with you. They travel. We pay it forward. All our gratitude for everything we have. And we are so grateful for these gifts and for the abundance that they represent. We bless the gifts and those who give. And this is our dedication of our offering today. Divine love through us blesses and multiplies all that we have, all that we give, and all that we receive. We are abundantly prosperous. We are so grateful, and so it is. Yes, we continue with our May theme of curiosity and our May affirmation, I live in a world of wonder. And next speaker will be Reverend Julianne Lewis, and she will be doing a Mother's Day service for us. Now it's time for announcements. We have events going on. We have 4 regular events going on. The first is the morning coffee, our morning discussion on Zoom at 9:30 weekdays. I'm going to give you the Zoom code and the password, even though it's not on the screen. I'm going to give it to you 204-469-6543. That's the Unity of Patience Zoom code. And perhaps, Neil, you could put it in the chat. And the password is 732018. Join us for our morning coffee, 9:30 on weekdays. The second announcement is the book circle, The Art of Pilgrimage, The Seeker's Guide to Making Travel Sacred. And that's Wednesday, May 6th at 10 in the morning to 11:30, also on Zoom, facilitated by Teresa Keller, and that's a love offering basis. Third is our Friday midday meditation at 1 p.m. on Zoom. You can also call in if you don't have access to the internet, and that's a love offering basis. And then on Saturday, May 9th, we're going to start our Intenders Circle at noon on Zoom. And you can also call in for that too. And then we have PS from Neil. Do you have anything for us today, Neil?
Yes, just a little bit more on the Intender Circle. This is something that came out from our morning discussions at Morning Coffee. Several of the members of the group that morning had been part of an Intender Circle from 10 plus years ago, I think. And it was very meaningful to them at that point. We had word intention on that day as our daily word. And it just seemed like there was a lot of energy for that. The idea simply is for us to be able to support ourselves as we create and keep our mind focused on the intentions that we have in our life. Similar in some ways to a mastermind circle, but we'll develop it a little bit differently. It'll be unique to us at Unity of Payson. So that's going to start this coming Saturday, and we invite you to join. We'll probably break down into small groups so that we can share a little bit more intimately with each other. Also, I just want to encourage you as Unity of Payson people to take opportunity to invite people to join us in all of these activities. Either today or tomorrow, the calendar for the month of May will be coming out and all of the events will be listed. Do take opportunity to invite people to come to these activities and join with us in those. They're really rich, and it's a unique but very, very satisfying way of connecting. To get to any of the Unity of Payson activities, you may simply go to our website, unityofpayson.org, and there is a button right there on the very front page where you can click and you'll be immediately brought into the Zoom room. So you can send this information along to anyone else, and please invite them to participate with us in this way. One more thing I wanted to do, and Donna, I'm going to change it just a little bit because it's a little hard for us to sing happy birthday, but I want to know if there was anyone with us this morning. You can either wave this way, raise your hand that way, or go to the participants tab and raise your hand and let us know that you have a birthday in the month of May. Is there anybody that does who will raise their hand and let us know, or just unmute yourself and speak it out? So since we don't have that, I invite you to take your buddy book if you have it, go and look and find out if there's a birthday there that you might have missed, so you can send along wishes for them. Don, I'll hand it back to you.
Thanks, Neil. So we'll be closing our service with our peace song, and we'll also end with the prayer for protection. and the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. Love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. And the presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you during the events of this week and next Sunday for our 10 a.m. Sunday service on Zoom and Facebook.
You are all unmuted. If you want to say hello to each other, please feel free to do so.
Hello, each other.
Hi, y'all.
Hello, this is June.
Yeah.
Good.
June.
Hi, June.
Hi.
Thanks, Kelsey. Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Donna. Thanks, Neil.
Everybody.
Thanks, Rick.
See you in the pink clouds.
And Tom, even though we always think we have it figured out,
Never fails.
something comes up, we don't quite, it doesn't work like we think it's gonna.
It seems like the system goes to sleep if it's off the share for more than a couple minutes. And it's like it just didn't want to go anywhere. I could bring it up, but it's like I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
So,
Happy birthday to all the birthdays out there.
Yeah.
Even though I can't see you, I love hearing all of your voices.
Wonderful,
Well, I'm
June.
glad that
We're
you
so
get
happy.
to participate this way, June.
Oh, I am too, and I've been with you every Sunday and hope to join you during the week.
Great.
Everybody look
Takes
at
a village.
chat messages or send chat messages if you want.
Thanks for that reminder, Teresa.
Mhm.
Have a blessed Sunday, everyone.
yes.
Thank you.
And I'll see you
Good
later,
day.
Neil.
I'm going to
Bye.
leave it open, but I myself am going to go for a bit. So talk if you like.
Have a good week, everyone.
Thank you. Ditto to everybody. Have a great week. Get outside. It's beautiful today. Bye.
Bye-bye.
The paintbrush calls. Thank you. Bye.